How to get unstuck without a big life change. You feel like you are stuck in the same day that keeps repeating over and over again. Maybe you wake up tired, do the same tasks, and go to bed feeling nothing changed at all. You might think the only answer is a big life change like quitting your job or moving to a new city. But big changes are scary, expensive, and often not even possible right now. The good news is that you do not need to blow up your life to feel unstuck again. Small, tiny shifts can open doors you thought were locked forever. This book will show you how to move forward without losing your stability or savings. You are not broken, and your life does not need a full restart. Imagine feeling a little lighter by tomorrow morning just from reading a few pages today. That is the promise of this book. Not huge promises, but real, small steps that actually work. Every chapter gives you one simple idea that fits right into your normal day without extra stress. You will learn why your brain makes you feel trapped and how to trick it into moving again. You will discover that being stuck is often just a pause, not a dead end. By the end of this book, you will see small actions as your secret superpower. Get ready to feel excited about tiny changes for the first time in your life. Let us begin this gentle, fun, and powerful journey together. Chapter 1. The Stuck Lie You Tell Yourself. Your brain loves to tell you stories that are not actually true, especially when you feel stuck. One big lie is that being stuck means you are lazy, weak, or failing at life. Another lie is that you need a huge dramatic solution to break free from where you are. But science shows that our minds often exaggerate problems to keep us safe from change. Feeling stuck is usually just a sign that your usual pattern stopped working for a little while. It does not mean you are broken or that your whole life is a mess. You might be stuck in one small area, like your morning energy or a work project. The rest of your life could actually be fine or even great. Here is the truth that will set you free right now. Being stuck is not a personality trait. It is just a temporary feeling that comes and goes. Everyone from CEOs to artists to parents feels stuck multiple times every single year. The difference is that some people panic and think something is wrong with them. Other people just yawn and make one tiny change to get rolling again. You are going to learn how to be the second type of person starting today. The stuck lie makes you believe you need to see the whole staircase before moving one step, but you only need to see the very next tiny step in front of your face. Once you take that step, the staircase often appears by magic. Think about a time you felt completely trapped but later got out without any big drama. Maybe you were stuck on a homework problem until you took a 5-minute walk. Maybe you felt bored in your routine until you switched your coffee shop one morning. Those small moments prove that the stuck feeling was never as solid as it seemed. Your brain just needed a little nudge to see a new path forward. The problem is that when we feel stuck, we stop trying small nudges altogether. We wait for a giant earthquake of change that almost never comes. That waiting is what really keeps us trapped, not the original problem itself. Let me give you a funny image to remember forever. Imagine you are standing in a small puddle of water, but you think it is a deep ocean. You feel scared to move because you believe you might drown any second. But the truth is that the water only reaches your ankles, not your neck. Being stuck is exactly like that puddle pretending to be an ocean. The moment you take one small step, you realize the water was never deep at all. Your fear was bigger than the actual problem by 100 times. That is the stuck lie in action, making small things look enormous in your mind. Once you see the lie, you cannot unsee it, and that is your first victory. Now you get to play a fun game called Find the Puddle, Not the Ocean. Every time you feel stuck, ask yourself what tiny move you are avoiding. Is it one email, one 5-minute walk, or one honest conversation? Most of the time, the answer is something so small you feel silly numbing it. That silliness is actually your clue that you found the real puddle, not the ocean. Your brain made that tiny thing feel like climbing a mountain without gear, but you now know that is just a story, not reality. You can smile at the story and take the small step anyway. That smile is the beginning of getting unstuck without any big life change. The best news is that you have already started breaking the stuck lie just by reading this chapter. You now have a new name for that heavy feeling, and numbing things takes away their power. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "I am so stuck," you can quietly say, "There is the lie again." That small sentence will make you laugh a little and loosen the trap around your feet. You do not need a new job, a new relationship, or a new city to feel better today. You just need to remember that puddles look like oceans when you are standing still. Take one step, and you will see how shallow the water really is. Welcome to the first day of your unstuck life, one tiny step at a time. Chapter 2: The 1-Degree Turn. A big ship heading across the ocean only needs to turn 1 degree to end up in a completely different country. That is how tiny changes work in your life. They look small, but their results are massive over time. You do not need to spin your whole life around 180 degrees to feel different. You just need 1 degree of change, which is almost invisible but totally powerful. Think about waking up just 10 minutes earlier or sending one kind text to a friend. Those are 1-degree turns that cost almost no energy but change your whole direction. Most people stay stuck because they think they need to turn the whole ship at once. But the secret is that 1 degree today and another degree tomorrow will take you anywhere you want. Let me show you what a 1-degree turn looks like in real life, not just in theory. If you always eat lunch at your desk, 1 degree is eating outside for 5 minutes instead. If you always say no to invitations, 1 degree is saying yes to one small coffee meetup. If you always scroll on your phone before bed, 1 degree is reading 2 pages of a book instead. These moves feel too small to matter, and that is exactly why they work so well. Your brain does not fight against tiny changes the way it fights against big ones. You will not feel scared, exhausted, or resistant when you only move 1 tiny degree. That means you will actually do the change instead of just dreaming about it. And doing something small is infinitely better than planning something huge that never happens. Here is a fun challenge you can try as soon as you finish reading this paragraph. Pick one small thing you do every single day without thinking, like your route to work. Now change that one thing by just a tiny amount. Take one different street or walk 1 block extra. That is your 1-degree turn for today, and it will feel weird but also exciting. The weird feeling is proof that your brain noticed the change, which is exactly what you want. A brain that notices something new is a brain that cannot feel stuck anymore. You do not need to change your whole morning routine or your whole job. You just need to surprise your brain with one small different move that breaks the loop. That broken loop is the beginning of Unstuck, and it only took 1 degree. Many people get stuck because they believe in all or nothing thinking, which is a huge trap. They think if they cannot exercise for an hour, they should exercise 0 minutes instead. They think if they cannot write 10 pages, they should write 0 words at all. That all or nothing mindset is the enemy of the 1-degree turn completely. But 1-degree thinking says that 5 minutes of exercise is a huge victory today. 1-degree thinking says that one sentence written is better than no sentences at all. You are not looking for perfect, you are looking for better than yesterday by a tiny bit. That tiny bit adds up faster than you can imagine, like drops filling a bucket. The bucket will be full before you know it, and you barely felt the work. Let us talk about why 1-degree turns feel so much better than big dramatic changes. Big changes come with big fear, big cost, big effort, and big chance of failure. 1-degree turns come with almost no fear, no cost, tiny effort, and almost no failure. You cannot fail at eating one different snack or taking one different deep breath today. That means you will actually try the change instead of just thinking about trying it. Trying leads to small wins, and small wins lead to motivation, and motivation leads to more tries. That is the unstuck spiral going upward instead of the stuck spiral going downward. You just need that first 1-degree turn to start the upward spin. Once it spins, momentum will carry you further than any big plan ever could. Your challenge for the rest of this week is to find 1-degree turn every single morning. Write it on a sticky note or set a phone reminder that says 1 degree today. It could be smiling at a stranger, drinking water before coffee, or standing up differently. It does not have to be productive or serious or impressive to anyone else at all. It just has to be different from what you did yesterday in that same moment. That difference is the key that unlocks the stuck door without breaking it down. You will feel a little spark of aliveness each time you make your 1-degree turn. Save those sparks, collect them, and watch them grow into a fire that warms your whole life. Chapter 3. Your hidden energy leaks. Imagine a bucket full of water with 3 tiny holes at the bottom that you never noticed before. That bucket is your daily energy, and the holes are the small things that drain you without your knowledge. You might feel stuck not because you lack motivation, but because your energy is leaking out slowly all day long. These leaks are so small that you do not feel them happening one by one. But by 5 o'clock, you are empty and confused about why you cannot move forward anymore. The good news is that plugging just one leak gives you back more energy than adding 10 new habits. You do not need more discipline or more willpower or more morning routines. You just need to find your hidden leaks and cover them up gently. The first hidden leak is what I call the open loop problem in your brain. An open loop is any unfinished task that your brain keeps trying to remember over and over again. It could be an email you did not send, a text you did not reply to, or a decision you did not make. Your brain wastes energy circling back to that open loop hundreds of times each day. That circling feels like a tiny mosquito buzzing in your ear that never goes away. You might not even notice the buzzing because you got used to the sound over time, but the buzzing is draining your focus and making you feel heavy and stuck. Closing one open loop by making a small decision gives you back hours of mental energy. You will feel lighter instantly, like taking off a backpack full of rocks you forgot you were wearing. The second hidden leak is the should storm that lives inside your head without permission. A should storm is when you tell yourself things like, I should exercise more, or I should call my mom. Each should is a tiny weight that sits on your shoulders and makes you feel guilty all day long. Guilt is one of the most exhausting emotions because it never stops asking for your attention. The solution is not to do every single thing you think you should do right now. The solution is to make a small choice about each should so it stops floating around. You can decide to do it today, schedule it for later, or drop it completely without guilt. Dropping a should that does not actually matter is one of the most freeing feelings in life. Try it right now by numbing one should that you give yourself permission to drop forever. The third hidden leak is what I call the compare hole that social media digs under your feet every single day. Every time you see someone else's highlight reel, your brain feels a tiny pang of not enough. That pang feels small, but happens dozens of times per hour when you scroll through your phone. Each pang drains a little bit of your energy and leaves you feeling behind in your own life. You start to believe that you are stuck because others are so far ahead of you somewhere else. But the truth is that comparison is a leak, not a fact, and you can choose to stop it. 1-degree turn here is unfollowing 3 accounts that make you feel bad about your normal life. Another degree turn is putting your phone in another room for just 1 hour each evening. There is also the leak of tiny decisions that you make over and over again without any system. What will you eat? What will you wear? When will you work? In what order will you do things? Each tiny decision costs a small amount of mental energy that adds up to exhaustion by noon. People who feel unstuck often have simple routines that remove these tiny decisions completely. They eat the same breakfast, wear a simple uniform, or follow the same morning order every day. That does not sound exciting, but it saves their energy for things that actually matter to them. You can create your own tiny systems without becoming boring or rigid at all. Pick 3 decisions you make every morning and decide them the night before instead. That small change plugs a leak you did not even know was dripping all over your day. Your mission now is to become a leak detective for the next 48 hours. Carry a small notebook or use your phone notes app to track when you feel suddenly tired. Write down what you were doing, thinking, or feeling right before that tired wave hit. You will start to see patterns that show you exactly where your leaks are hiding. Maybe it is checking email first thing in the morning or saying yes to too many small requests. Maybe it is a messy room that your eyes scan every 5 minutes without you realizing it. Once you see the leak, you can plug it with one tiny change that costs almost nothing. That plugged leak will give you back energy you forgot you ever had. And that returned energy is what finally makes you feel unstuck without any big life change. Chapter 4: The 5-Minute Unstick Ritual. You do not need an hour-long meditation or a 2-hour gym session to change how you feel today. You just need 5 minutes and one silly little ritual that breaks the stuck spell in your brain. A ritual is different from a habit because it feels special, playful, and full of your own personality. Habits feel like chores, but rituals feel like gifts you give yourself just because you deserve them. The best unstuck rituals are so short that you cannot make an excuse to skip them. They are so simple that a tired 5-year-old could do them without any help at all. And they are so fun that you will actually look forward to doing them every single morning. Let me teach you 3 5-minute rituals that work like magic for getting unstuck. The first ritual is called the hand wash reset, and it takes exactly as long as washing your hands. Turn on the warm water and pretend you are washing away yesterday's stuck feeling down the drain. Use a soap that smells amazing, not the boring one you keep under the sink for guests. As you lather your hands, say out loud one thing you are letting go of right now. It could be a worry, a mistake, or a story you keep telling yourself that is not true. Watch the soap bubbles carry that thing away as the water rinses your hands clean. Then dry your hands and tell yourself, fresh hands, fresh start, let us go. That whole ritual takes less than 2 minutes but changes your whole brain state completely. Try it tomorrow morning and notice how different you feel before your first cup of coffee. The second ritual is called the 3-breath pause, and you can do it anywhere without anyone noticing. Stop whatever you are doing and put one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. Take a slow breath in for 4 counts, hold for 2 counts, and breathe out for 6 counts. Do that 3 times total, and with each breath out, imagine blowing away a little fog from a window. After the 3rd breath, look around the room and find 3 things that are the color blue. That last step sounds silly, but it forces your brain to wake up and pay attention to now. Your stuck feeling lives in the past or the future, never in the present moment. This ritual brings you back to now where nothing is actually stuck at all. You just need 15 seconds and 3 breaths to remember that you are okay right here. The third ritual is called the One Small Win Dance, and it is my personal favorite for hard mornings. Set a timer for 5 minutes and do one tiny task that takes less than 60 seconds to finish. It could be making your bed, washing one dish, or sending one short email that you have been avoiding. When the tiny task is done, stand up and do a silly victory dance for exactly 5 seconds. The dance does not have to look good, it just has to feel good and make you smile a little bit. You can wiggle your hips, wave your arms, or nod your head like a chicken dancing to music. That small celebration tells your brain that moving forward feels good, even when the move was tiny. Your brain will start to crave that good feeling and want to take another small step soon. One small win plus one silly dance equals one unstuck human being before breakfast. You can also create your own 5-minute ritual that fits your personality and your life perfectly. Maybe your ritual is putting on one song and singing the chorus as loud as you can by yourself. Maybe your ritual is stepping outside, touching a tree, and thanking the sky for a new day. Maybe your ritual is drawing a tiny star on your hand to remind yourself that you are magic. The specific actions do not matter as much as the feeling you create while doing them. A good ritual makes you feel safe, playful, and connected to yourself instead of lost in your head. It should take no planning, no equipment, and no special skills to complete every single day. And it should leave you feeling 1 degree lighter than you felt 5 minutes before starting. That lightness is the opposite of stuck, and it lives inside 5 minutes of your morning. The most important rule of the 5-minute unstick ritual is that you cannot judge yourself during it. Do not worry if it feels dumb or if you are doing it wrong, or if it is not working fast enough. The ritual works because you show up, not because you perform it perfectly like a trained actor. Your stuck brain will try to tell you that 5 minutes is a waste of time that could be spent worrying instead. Do not listen to that voice. It is the same voice that kept you stuck for way too long already. Just do the ritual anyway, even if you are rolling your eyes the whole entire time. After 7 days in a row, your brain will stop complaining and start looking forward to the ritual. After 30 days, you will feel weird on mornings when you somehow skip your 5-minute magic. That is how you know the Unstuck ritual became part of your new, lighter life. Your challenge for this week is to pick one ritual and do it every morning before checking your phone. Do not wait for the perfect moment or the perfect mood or the perfect version of yourself. Do it even when you are tired, even when you are grumpy, and even when you do not believe it will help. The magic is in the doing, not in the believing, so just do it without asking your brain for permission. After 7 days, write down how your mornings feel compared to last week at this same time. You will likely notice that you feel less heavy, less foggy, and more ready for whatever comes your way. That is the power of 5 tiny minutes stacked together like small bricks building a new path. You built that path without quitting your job, moving your home, or changing anything big at all. Chapter 5. Break the loop without breaking your life. A loop is when you do the same thing, feel the same way, and get the same result over and over again. You wake up tired, scroll on your phone, rush through work, eat the same dinner, and fall asleep numb. The loop feels like a cage, but the door was never locked, you just forgot to look for it. Breaking the loop does not require burning your whole life down to start over fresh. You just need to insert one small different thing into the middle of your usual pattern. That one different thing acts like a pebble stuck in the gears of a machine. The machine will stop running smoothly, which forces you to notice something new around you. And that noticing is the beginning of breaking free from the loop without any big life change. Let me give you a real example of a loop and how to break it gently. Your loop might be coming home from work, sitting on the couch, and watching 4 hours of television. You feel bored but also unable to do anything else because the couch feels like a magnet. The small break is to stand up during every commercial break and touch the front door handle. You do not have to leave the house, you just have to stand up and touch the door handle one time. That tiny action breaks the physical trance of the couch and reminds your body that it can move. After a few days, touching the handle might turn into opening the door and standing outside for 10 seconds. After a week, 10 seconds might turn into a 5-minute walk around your own building. You did not quit television or become a marathon runner, you just broke the loop one touch at a time. Another powerful way to break a loop is to change the order of things without changing the things themselves. If you always shower then eat breakfast, try eating breakfast then showering for just one day. If you always check email first at work, try doing one small task before opening your inbox at all. If you always sit in the same chair, try sitting in a different chair across the room instead. Changing the order confuses your brain just enough to wake it up from automatic pilot mode. When your brain wakes up, it starts noticing new possibilities that were hidden inside the old loop. Those possibilities were always there, but you could not see them because you were on autopilot. Autopilot is great for driving on highways but terrible for getting unstuck in your life. One small order change is like tapping your brain on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, look around." You can also break a loop by adding a tiny pause before your usual automatic reaction happens. For example, before you open social media, take 3 slow breaths and ask yourself one question. The question is, what do I actually want right now? Not, what does my habit want me to do? That tiny pause creates a space between the trigger and your reaction to that trigger. In that small space, you have a choice that you never had before when you were on autopilot. You might still choose to open social media, and that is totally fine and not a failure at all. But now you chose it instead of your habit choosing it for you without asking. That feeling of choosing is the feeling of being unstuck, even if your outward behavior looks exactly the same. You are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the driver making small decisions every moment. Let us talk about why breaking the loop feels scary even though it is such a small change. Your brain loves loops because loops are efficient and safe and predictable like an old comfortable blanket. When you try to break a loop, your brain will send alarm signals that say danger, go back. Those alarm signals feel like anxiety, boredom, or a sudden urge to do something else instead. But the alarm is false. You are not in danger from sitting in a different chair or eating a different breakfast. The alarm is just your brain protecting a pattern that used to keep you safe a long time ago. You can thank your brain for trying to help, and then do the small loop break anyway. The more you break small loops, the quieter the false alarm becomes over time. Your brain learns that new chairs and new orders and new pauses are not dangerous at all. They are actually fun little adventures that make your day more interesting and less stuck. Your homework for this week is to find one loop that annoys you but feels impossible to change. Write down the exact steps of that loop from beginning to end like a recipe for stuckness. Then pick one tiny spot in the middle of that recipe to change or remove or add something new. It cannot be a big change like stop watching television forever, because that will never happen. It has to be a tiny change like watch television while standing up for the first 10 minutes. Do that tiny change for 3 days in a row without judging whether it is working or not. On the 4th day, notice if the loop feels looser or if you feel even 1% lighter. That 1% is proof that loops can be broken without breaking your life at all. Celebrate that 1% like it is 100%, because small breaks lead to big freedom every single time. Chapter 6: The Not Nothing Rule. Most people stay stuck because they believe if they cannot do everything, they should do nothing at all. They wait for the perfect energy, perfect mood, and perfect plan before they take any action forward. But perfection never comes, which means they stay stuck waiting forever in the same sad spot. The not nothing rule is a simple promise you make to yourself starting right now today. The rule says that doing something small is always better than doing nothing, no exceptions ever. One sentence written is not nothing. It is something real that did not exist before. One dish washed is not nothing. It is one less dirty thing in your kitchen right now. 1 minute walked is not nothing. It is 60 seconds of movement that your body thanks you for. Let me show you how the not nothing rule changes your brain chemistry in a powerful way. Your brain releases a small amount of dopamine every time you complete any task at all. Dopamine is the feel-good chemical that makes you want to do more things and feel more alive. When you do nothing, you get zero dopamine, which makes you feel flat and unmotivated and stuck. When you do something tiny, you get a little dopamine, which makes you feel slightly better than before. That slightly better feeling makes you want to do another tiny thing after a short break. That second tiny thing gives you another little hit of dopamine to keep the momentum going. Soon, you have done several small things without ever feeling overwhelmed or exhausted at all. The not nothing rule tricks your brain into starting, and starting is the hardest part of everything. Here is a real example of how powerful the not nothing rule can be in your daily life. Imagine you need to clean your whole apartment, but you feel too tired to even think about starting. The old you would do nothing and feel guilty while watching television instead of cleaning. The new you uses the not nothing rule and says, I will clean for just 2 minutes. That is it. You set a timer for 2 minutes and clean as fast as you can without worrying about doing it perfectly. When the timer goes off, you can stop with zero guilt because you kept your promise to yourself. But here is the magic. Most of the time you will keep going past the 2-minute timer. Your brain already started the task and got a little dopamine hit from the first 2 minutes. That tiny hit makes continuing feel easier than stopping and starting again later. You end up cleaning for 15 minutes without any effort or struggle or big life change. The not nothing rule also works for creative work, exercise, difficult conversations, and boring paperwork. For writing, one sentence is not nothing, so write one sentence and see what happens next. For exercise, one jumping jack is not nothing, so do one jumping jack in your living room right now. For a hard talk, One honest word is not nothing, so say that one word and let the rest follow. For paperwork, one form line is not nothing, so fill in your name and watch yourself continue. The rule removes the pressure of finishing and replaces it with the joy of starting something. You cannot fail at the not nothing rule because nothing is too small to count as a win. A win is a win is a win, no matter how tiny or silly or incomplete it looks to anyone else. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are trying to unstick yourself one tiny win at a time. Many people resist the not nothing rule because it feels too easy to matter in their stuck lives. They think, if it is that easy, it cannot possibly work for someone like me with real problems. But that thinking is exactly what keeps them stuck, the belief that struggle equals progress. Struggle does not equal progress. Struggle often equals burnout, and burnout equals more stuckness tomorrow. Easy progress is still progress, and progress is the only thing that unsticks you from where you are right now. The most successful people in any field use versions of the not nothing rule every single day. They know that showing up for 5 minutes beats not showing up at all by 1,000,000 miles. They know that 1% better than yesterday adds up to 100% better in 100 days. You can be one of those people starting today by embracing the power of doing something, anything, not nothing. Your challenge is to apply the not nothing rule to one area where you feel the most stuck right now. Pick the thing you have been avoiding for weeks or months because it feels too big to handle. Now shrink that thing down until it becomes so small that it feels almost stupid to call it a task. If the thing is cleaning the garage, shrink it to opening the garage door and looking inside for 3 seconds. If the thing is starting a business, shrink it to writing the business name on a piece of paper one time. If the thing is fixing a friendship, shrink it to sending one emoji that means, I am thinking of you. Do that tiny stupid small thing today before you go to sleep tonight. Then tomorrow, do that same tiny thing again or add one more tiny thing on top of it. By the end of the week, you will have done 7 things instead of 7 days of nothing. And 7 small things will make you feel more unstuck than one big plan that never left your head. Chapter 7. Find your stuck spot, not your life spot. When you feel stuck, your brain makes a big mistake that keeps you trapped for way too long. Your brain says, I am stuck, as if your whole entire life is frozen from top to bottom. But that is almost never true. You are usually stuck in one small spot, not everywhere at all. Maybe you are stuck in your morning energy, but your afternoons are actually pretty good. Maybe you are stuck in one work project, but your friendships and hobbies are flowing fine. Maybe you are stuck in your eating habits, but your exercise and sleep are already working well. The difference between feeling totally stuck and feeling slightly stuck is finding the one spot. Once you find the spot, you stop attacking your whole life and start fixing just that one corner. Let me teach you a simple game called Spot the Spot that takes less than 5 minutes to play. Draw a circle on a piece of paper and write the words "my whole life" inside that big circle. Now draw 10 smaller circles inside the big one and label them with different areas of your life. For example, work, money, health, friends, family, hobbies, rest, learning, home, and fun. Now take a red pen and color in the circles that feel truly stuck, not just a little hard. Leave the circles empty that feel okay, good, or even just fine for now. Look at your paper and notice that most circles are probably empty, not red at all. The red circles are your stuck spots, and they are much smaller than your brain told you. Your life is not stuck. You have a few stuck spots inside a mostly moving life. That changes everything about how you see yourself and what you need to do next. Now that you've found your stuck spot, you can stop trying to fix everything at once like a crazy person. You do not need to change your career, your relationship, and your home all in the same week. You just need to pick one stuck spot and give it a tiny bit of gentle attention for a few days. The other spots will take care of themselves while you focus on one small area at a time. This is called focused unsticking, and it works so much better than scattered panic fixing. Focused unsticking feels like using a magnifying glass to burn one small leaf instead of setting the whole forest on fire. The leaf burns quickly and easily because you put all your heat into one tiny target. Your energy is precious, so spend it on one stuck spot instead of spreading it over everything. Here is a surprising truth about stuck spots that most people never realize on their own. Your stuck spot is often connected to one tiny belief that you adopted years ago without even knowing it. That belief might be, I am bad at mornings, or I never finish what I start, or people like me do not succeed. That tiny belief sits under your stuck spot like a hidden rock under a puddle of water. You cannot fix the puddle by scooping out water if the rock is still sitting there underneath. You have to find the rock, name the rock, and then decide if the rock is even true at all. Most of these hidden beliefs are not true, they are just old stories you heard from someone wrong. Once you see the false belief, the stuck spot often disappears without any other effort from you. That is the magic of finding your real stuck spot instead of attacking your whole life. Let me give you an example of how a hidden belief creates a stuck spot in real life. Imagine you feel stuck in making new friends, so you think your whole social life is broken forever. But the real stuck spot is just Thursday nights when you feel too tired to go to a meetup group. Under that stuck spot is a hidden belief that says, new people will not like the real me anyway. That belief is not true, but it lives in your head and stops you from trying on Thursday nights. Once you find that belief, you can test it by going to one meetup for just 15 minutes. You will probably see that people are nice, and the belief was lying to you the whole time. The stuck spot dissolves because the hidden belief gets exposed as the fake story it always was. You did not change your whole life. You just found one false belief and replaced it with real evidence. Your homework now is to become a detective looking for hidden beliefs under your stuck spots. Pick one stuck spot from your circle drawing earlier today and ask yourself, what do I believe about this area? Write down whatever comes out without judging whether it sounds silly or not. Then ask yourself, is this belief 100% true, or could it be a story I made up? Most beliefs are not 100% true. They are half true or totally false or true only in certain moments. For every belief that is not fully true, write down one small piece of evidence that proves it wrong. That evidence could be one memory, one compliment, or one time when the opposite happened instead. Keep that evidence somewhere you can see it when the stuck spot tries to pull you back down. You are not stuck, you just have a few small spots that need a little light and a little truth. Shine that light today and watch how fast those spots shrink into nothing at all. Chapter 8: Small Brave Things. Bravery does not have to mean jumping out of airplanes or speaking in front of thousands of people. Small brave things are the secret superhero moves that get you unstuck without any drama or danger. A small brave thing is something that makes you slightly nervous, but is totally safe to try today. It could be saying hello to a stranger or posting a photo you like without overthinking it. It could be asking a question in a meeting or wearing a color you usually avoid wearing. These acts feel scary in your chest, but your brain knows you will survive just fine. The magic is that each small brave thing builds your unstuck muscles one tiny rep at a time. After a few reps, things that felt impossible last week start to feel like no big deal at all. Let me give you a list of small brave things you can try before the sun goes down today. Send a text to someone you have not talked to in months, just one sentence saying you thought of them. Say no to one small request that you usually say yes to even when you are already too tired. Speak up in a group when you normally stay quiet. Just one sentence is enough to count as brave. Try a new food that scares you a little bit, or listen to music that is not your usual style at all. Walk into a store and leave without buying anything, which feels weird but is totally allowed. Post something imperfect on social media without editing it 10 times before hitting share. Each of these things takes less than 60 seconds but feels like a tiny adventure in your body. That adventure feeling is the exact opposite of stuck, so go collect some adventures today. The reason small brave things work so well is that fear and stuckness live in the same house inside your brain. When you feel stuck, your brain is actually feeling afraid of something you might not even notice. That fear could be fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of wasting time, or fear of looking dumb. Small brave things are tiny doses of fear that you choose on purpose instead of fear choosing you. By choosing the fear, you take back power from your stuck brain and remind it who is in charge. Your brain learns that fear is not a stop sign. It is just a sensation that passes like a cloud in the sky. Each time you do a small brave thing, the cloud gets smaller and passes faster than before. Soon you will feel fear and do the thing anyway without even thinking about it much. Here is a fun fact that will change how you see bravery forever. Your body cannot tell the difference between fear and excitement because both feel almost exactly the same. Your heart beats faster, your breath gets shorter, and your palms might sweat a little bit. The only difference is the story you tell yourself about what those feelings mean in that moment. If you say, "I am scared," your body tightens up and wants to run away from the situation. If you say, "I am excited," your body opens up and wants to move toward the situation instead. So for your next small brave thing, tell yourself, "I am so excited to try this," even if you do not believe it. Fake it until your body catches up to the words you are saying out loud to yourself. You will be shocked at how the same feeling can feel like a party instead of a problem. That is the secret of small brave things. They turn your fear into fuel for moving forward. You might worry that small brave things do not matter in the big picture of your stuck life. But big brave things are just small brave things that you kept doing over and over again without stopping. The person who speaks on a big stage started by speaking up one time in a small meeting. The person who started a business started by sending one scary email to one potential customer. The person who found love started by saying one brave hello to someone who looked interesting. Nobody wakes up brave. They become brave by collecting small brave moments like coins in a jar. You have the same ability to collect those coins starting today with one tiny action. That action will lead to another action, which will lead to a different feeling about yourself. And that different feeling is what finally unsticks you from the spot you have been standing in for way too long. Your challenge is to do one small brave thing every single day for the next 7 days. Write each one down in a notebook or a note on your phone so you can see your collection growing. At the end of the week, read through your list and notice how different you feel compared to last week. You will likely notice that the first day felt the hardest and the 7th day felt almost easy. That is because your bravery muscle got stronger with each small rep you completed along the way. You did not change your job, your home, or your relationships at all during that week. You just changed your relationship with fear, which changed your ability to move when you feel stuck. That is the whole point of this book. Small changes in how you act create big changes in how you feel. Go be small brave today, and watch your stuck life turn into a moving life one tiny brave step at a time. Chapter 9. The Permission Slip You Need. Most of us walk around waiting for someone to give us permission to feel better, rest, or change. We wait for a boss, a parent, a partner, or society to say, "It is okay, you can go now." But that permission never comes because nobody is in charge of your life except you. You have been holding your own permission slip this whole time without even realizing it. The permission slip is a real piece of paper that you write to yourself and sign with your own name. On that paper, you give yourself official permission to do something you have been judging yourself for. It could be permission to rest without guilt or permission to say no to one social event. It could be permission to be bad at something new or permission to change your mind later. The act of writing it down and signing it makes it real in a way thinking never can. Let me show you exactly how to write your first permission slip right now in the next 2 minutes. Take any piece of paper, a napkin works fine, and write the date at the top of the page. Then write your full name. Give myself full permission to do the following thing without guilt or shame. Under that sentence, write one specific thing you have been wanting to do but holding back from doing. For example, take a 30-minute nap without calling it lazy, or skip one family dinner to rest. Then write, "This permission is real and permanent and does not need anyone else's approval to be valid." Sign your name at the bottom like you are signing the most important contract of your life. Fold the paper and put it somewhere you can see it for the next 3 days. Read it out loud to yourself each morning and notice how different your body feels after reading it. The reason permission slips work is that guilt is one of the heaviest emotions a human can carry around. Guilt makes you feel like you owe someone something, even when you do not owe anyone anything at all. That heavy feeling keeps you stuck because moving forward feels wrong when you feel guilty. But permission cuts through guilt like a hot knife cuts through soft butter on a warm day. When you give yourself official permission, the guilt has no power over you anymore because you made a choice. You are not sneaking around or hiding or feeling bad. You are doing exactly what you said you would do. That alignment between what you want and what you do is the definition of feeling unstuck and free. You gave yourself the key, and now you can use it anytime you need to open a stuck door. You can give yourself permission for things that sound too small to matter or too big to imagine. Permission to eat the same dinner 3 nights in a row because cooking feels hard this week. Permission to cry during a movie without calling yourself too sensitive or embarrassing at all. Permission to change your career goals without telling anyone why or explaining your reasons to anyone. Permission to love someone who hurt you and also keep your distance from them at the same time. Permission to be happy even when other people you know are struggling with their own hard lives. Permission to try something and fail at it, and decide that failure was still worth the effort you gave. Permission to not have your whole life figured out by any age that anyone told you was important. Permission to be a work in progress, forever, because every human is a work in progress until their last day. Here is a powerful secret about giving yourself permission that will blow your mind today. When you give yourself permission to do something, you also give others permission to do the same thing. Your bravery becomes a gift that spreads to everyone who sees you living your truth out loud. Your friend might see you take a rest day and feel allowed to take their own rest day finally. Your child might see you say no to something and learn that saying no is a kind of self-love. Your coworker might see you fail at something and feel less alone in their own struggles with perfection. You are not just helping yourself when you write a permission slip, you are helping your whole community. That makes the small act of writing a note into a big act of changing the world around you. So give yourself permission today, not just for you, but for everyone who needs to see what courage looks like. Your permission slip is a gift that keeps giving long after you signed your name at the bottom. Your challenge is to write one permission slip every morning for the next 5 mornings in a row. They can be the same permission every day or different ones depending on what you need that morning. Keep all 5 slips in a stack and look at them together on the 6th day of the week. Notice how many of those permissions you actually used because you gave yourself official approval ahead of time. Most people find that they used at least 3 out of 5 permissions without even trying hard. That is because the permission was already there waiting for you. You just had to write it down to claim it. You do not need to earn permission or qualify for permission or be good enough for permission at all. Permission is your birthright as a human being who is allowed to live your own one life. Take it today, sign it with your name, and watch how unstuck you feel tomorrow morning. Chapter 10. Rearrange, don't replace. Most people think that getting unstuck means throwing away old things and bringing in brand new things. They think they need a new job, new house, new partner, or new city to feel alive again. But the secret is that you can feel completely different without replacing anything at all. You just need to rearrange what you already have in a slightly different order or place. Rearranging is cheaper, faster, easier, and less scary than replacing anything in your life. It works for your furniture, your schedule, your thoughts, and your relationships with other people. A new arrangement makes old things feel new again without the cost or risk of starting over. That is why Rearrange is one of the most powerful unstuck tools in your whole toolkit. Let us start with rearranging your physical space because it gives the fastest results for the least effort. Move your bed to a different wall in your bedroom and see how different the room feels tomorrow morning. Switch the art on your walls so that the picture you forgot about becomes the star of the room. Put your phone charger in a different room so that you have to stand up to check your notifications. Change which shelf holds your coffee mugs so that reaching for a mug becomes a new little adventure. Rearrange your desk so that your computer faces a window instead of a blank white wall all day long. These changes take less than 10 minutes but trick your brain into thinking you are in a new environment. A new environment wakes up your senses and makes you notice things you stopped seeing months ago. And noticing things is the beginning of feeling unstuck without changing anything important at all. Now let us talk about rearranging your daily schedule, which is like rearranging the furniture of your time. If you always exercise at night, try exercising in the morning for just one day this week. If you always answer emails first, try doing your hardest task first and emails later in the afternoon. If you always eat lunch at noon, try eating at 1 o'clock and using the noon hour for a short walk outside. If you always call your mom on Sunday, try calling her on Wednesday just to surprise both of you a little bit. If you always clean your home on Saturday, try cleaning for 10 minutes each evening instead of all at once. These schedule rearrangements cost $0 and require zero new skills to complete today. They just require you to break the automatic pattern that put your brain to sleep months ago. A awake brain is an unstuck brain, and an unstuck brain can solve problems your tired brain never could. You can also rearrange your thoughts, which sounds strange but works better than you might think. When you feel stuck, write down the thought that is looping in your head like a broken record. Then rearrange the words of that thought into a different order that changes its meaning completely. For example, change, "I'm not good enough for this job" into, "This job is not good enough for me right now." Change, "I will never finish this project" into, "This project will never finish me, I am stronger than it." Change, "Nobody understands me" into, "I understand myself, and that is enough for today." Changing the order of words changes the feeling those words create inside your body and mind. You did not replace the thought, you just rearranged it into a shape that serves you better. That rearranged thought can be the difference between staying stuck all day or moving forward in 5 minutes. Try it right now with one stuck thought and notice how much lighter you feel after the rearrangement. The most beautiful thing about rearranging is that it honors what you already have instead of rejecting it. You are not saying your life is bad or wrong or broken and in need of replacement parts. You are saying your life is good enough, and a small twist will make it feel fresh and exciting again. That is a kind and gentle way to treat yourself compared to the harsh voice of replacement thinking. Replacement thinking says, "You are not enough, go buy something new to fix yourself." Rearranging thinking says, "You are enough, let us just move things around to remind you of that fact." One of those voices makes you feel tired and broke and always falling behind the world. The other voice makes you feel creative and capable and full of hidden resources you forgot about. Choose the second voice today and see how much kinder your inner world becomes by tonight. Kindness unsticks you faster than criticism ever could in a million years. Your challenge is to pick one area of your life to rearrange before this week ends. It could be your bedroom, your morning routine, your social media feed, or your weekly meal plan. Spend no more than 15 minutes rearranging that one area as playfully as you possibly can. Do not ask for permission or worry about doing it right or wrong at any point during the process. After you finish, sit in the rearranged space or follow the rearranged schedule for one full day. At the end of that day, write down 3 ways that the rearrangement changed how you felt inside. You might be surprised that small moves like moving a lamp or switching 2 tasks changed your whole mood. That is the power of rearrange. It shows you that you have more control than you thought you had. You do not need a new life, you just need new eyes to see your current life differently. Rearranging gives you those new eyes without waiting for a big life change that may never come. Chapter 11. The done is better than perfect sprint. Perfectionism is the #1 reason that smart, kind, talented people stay stuck for years at a time. Perfectionism tells you that if you cannot do something perfectly, you should not do it at all. That voice sounds responsible and high standard, but it is actually just fear wearing a fancy costume. The truth is that perfect does not exist in this world, not in nature, not in art, not in people. Everything you love and admire was done by someone who finished it even though it was not perfect. The difference between stuck people and unstuck people is not talent or luck or intelligence at all. The difference is that unstuck people finish things, and stuck people wait for perfect that never comes. That is why you need the done is better than perfect sprint in your life starting today. A done is better than perfect sprint is a short burst of time where you only care about finishing, not quality. You set a timer for 20 minutes and work as fast as you can without stopping to fix mistakes. You do not reread your work, you do not erase your errors, and you do not second-guess your choices. The only rule is that when the timer goes off, you stop and call whatever you have done. It does not matter if it is messy or wrong or missing huge pieces that you wanted to include. You finish something, and finishing something is 1,000 times better than perfecting nothing. That finished something can be edited later, fixed later, or even thrown away later if you hate it. But you cannot edit, fix, or throw away something that does not exist because you never finished it at all. Existence is the first victory. And existence only comes from finishing, not from perfecting. Let me give you real examples of how to use the sprint in different areas of your stuck life. For cleaning, set a 20-minute timer and put away as many things as possible without organizing them neatly. For writing, set a timer and type without stopping even if your sentences make no sense at all. For exercise, set a timer and move your body in any way, even if it looks silly or uncoordinated. For decluttering, set a timer and throw 10 things into a bag without deciding where they should go instead. For a hard conversation, set a timer and say what you need to say without planning the perfect words first. For cooking, set a timer and throw ingredients together without measuring or following a recipe exactly. The sprint works for anything because the sprint is not about the task, it is about your brain. Your brain needs to learn that finished and imperfect is safe, while perfect and unfinished is a trap. Here is why the sprint is so effective at getting you unstuck compared to other methods. Your stuck brain is stuck because it is afraid of making a mistake that someone will judge later. The sprint removes the possibility of judgment because you are not trying to be good at all. You are trying to be fast, and fast is totally different from good in your brain's map of the world. Your brain can handle fast without fear because fast does not ask for quality or approval from anyone. Once you finish the sprint, your brain sees that you survived making a messy version of the thing. That survival teaches your brain that imperfection is not dangerous, it is just normal and fine. Next time you try the task, your brain will be less scared and more willing to try again. Over time, the fear of imperfection shrinks until it is too small to stop you from starting anything. That is how you get unstuck permanently without ever becoming a perfect person who does not exist. Many people worry that the sprint will produce low-quality work that embarrasses them later. But here is the secret that professional creators know that amateurs do not know yet. The first version of anything is supposed to be bad. That is not a bug. That is a feature of creation. Every book you love started as a messy first draft full of typos and bad sentences. Every movie you enjoy started as a rough script that made no sense to anyone but the writer. Every business you admire started as a bad idea that almost failed before someone fixed it little by little. The sprint gives you the bad first version so you have something to make better over time. You cannot make something better if you have nothing to work with at all. So stop waiting for perfect and start sprinting toward done, because done is the only path to better. Better comes after done, never before done, so get done first and better second every single time. Your challenge is to do one done is better than perfect sprint today in your most stuck area. Set a timer for 20 minutes and do not prepare, plan, or think about doing it perfectly at all. When the timer starts, move as fast as you can and stop as soon as the timer rings at the end. Do not look back at what you made or judge it or compare it to anyone else's work. Just put a star on your calendar and say, I finished something today, and that is a win. Tomorrow, do another sprint in the same area or a different area depending on how you feel. After 5 sprints, look back at what you made on the first day compared to the 5th day. You will see progress that happened without you even trying to be perfect at any point. That progress is the unstuck feeling that you have been searching for since you started reading this book. You found it not in perfection, but in the messy, fast, brave act of finishing something anyway. Chapter 12. Borrow Future You's Eyes. One of the weirdest and most wonderful tricks to get unstuck is to pretend you are from the future. Future you has already lived through this stuck moment and knows exactly how it all turned out. Future you is not worried, not scared, and not confused about what to do next at all. Future you looks back at today and smiles because the answer was so simple the whole time. You cannot actually travel to the future, but you can borrow future you's eyes for a few minutes. Those eyes see your current problem as small, temporary, and totally solvable with a tiny move. That perspective changes everything because your stuck brain sees the problem as huge and permanent. Borrowing future you's eyes is like putting on glasses that make mountains look like the small hills they really are. Let me teach you a simple exercise called the time travel trick that takes less than 3 minutes to finish. Close your eyes and imagine yourself 1 year from today, sitting somewhere comfortable and peaceful. Imagine that 1 year from now, this stuck feeling is completely gone and you barely remember being stuck at all. Now ask future you this question out loud. What did I do to get unstuck back then? Listen for the answer that comes into your mind, even if it sounds too simple or silly to be real. Future you will usually say something like, "You just started small," or "You stopped being so hard on yourself." Write down whatever answer you hear without editing or judging it for being too basic. That answer is the exact small step you need to take today, not tomorrow or next week. Future you already knows it works because future you already lived through it and came out fine on the other side. The reason this trick works is that your brain cannot tell the difference between real memory and imagined memory very well. When you imagine future you speaking, your brain creates a memory of that conversation as if it really happened. That fake memory gives you confidence because it feels like you already solved the problem before. Confidence is the opposite of stuckness, and confidence comes from feeling like you know what to do next. Future you always knows what to do next because future you is not blinded by today's fear or frustration. You can borrow that knowing anytime you need it just by closing your eyes and asking one simple question. The question is always, what did I do to get through this? Not, what should I do? Using past tense tricks your brain into believing the solution already exists. And believing the solution exists is half the battle of actually finding that solution in real life. You can also borrow future you's eyes to see how small your current problem really is from far away. Think about a problem that felt huge last year, but now feels like nothing important at all. That is exactly how today's stuck feeling will feel to future you 365 days from now. Future you might even laugh a little bit at how big today's problem seemed inside your head. That laugh is not mean. It is the laugh of someone who knows how strong you turned out to be. You are that strong right now. You just cannot feel it because you are too close to the problem. Stepping back with future you's eyes gives you the distance you need to see your own strength clearly. Distance turns drama into data, and data is much easier to work with than drama ever is. So take a step back, borrow those future eyes, and watch your huge problem shrink into a small task. Here is a fun way to use the time travel trick when you feel stuck in a decision that scares you. Imagine future you looking back at this decision and feeling proud of you for choosing one path. Now imagine future you looking back and feeling proud of you for choosing the other path instead. Notice that future you is proud of you either way because future you knows you made the best choice you could. That means there is no wrong decision, only different decisions that lead to different but equally fine outcomes. Your stuck feeling comes from believing that one choice will ruin your life and the other will save it. But future you knows that neither choice will ruin anything because you are more resilient than you think. So pick any choice, even a random one, because moving is better than standing still forever. Future you will thank you for moving, no matter which direction you chose to go today. Your challenge is to use the time travel trick every morning for the next 7 days in a row. Each morning, close your eyes and ask future you one question about the day ahead of you. Future you might give you a different answer each day, So pay attention to what changes over the week. Write down each answer in a notebook and notice which answers you actually followed during that day. You will likely find that the answers are always simple, kind, and totally doable with almost no effort. That is because future you is not trying to impress anyone or prove anything to the world. Future you just wants you to feel a little lighter and move a little more each day. Those small moves add up to a life that future you is proud to look back on with warm feelings. So borrow those future eyes today and let them guide you home to your own unstuck self. Chapter 13. The Unstick Jar. Sometimes getting unstuck needs a physical object you can see, touch, and watch grow over time. The Unstick jar is a simple glass jar that you fill with tiny reminders of your small wins every single day. You can use any jar, a mason jar, an old pasta jar, or even a clean peanut butter jar from your kitchen. Decorate it with a ribbon or a sticker or just leave it plain and simple as it is. Next to the jar, keep a stack of small pieces of paper and a pen that writes smoothly. Every time you do something that moves you from stuck to unstuck, write it down on a small paper. Fold that paper and drop it into the jar so you can see your collection growing day by day. The jar becomes a physical proof that you are not stuck. You are just moving slowly, and slow is still moving. What counts as a win that deserves to go into your unstick jar? Almost anything that is not nothing counts as a win for the purposes of this game. One sentence of writing, one dish washed, 1 minute of exercise, one brave text sent, one deep breath taken before reacting, one small no said to a request that drains you, one permission slip written, one loop broken, 1-degree turn made in your daily routine, one small brave thing that made your heart beat faster but you did it anyway. One rearranged piece of furniture or one rearranged thought that changed your mood completely. If you are not sure whether something counts, put it in the jar anyway because being generous wins. The jar does not judge small wins. The jar celebrates every single one like a cheering crowd. Here is why the Unstick jar works better than a digital tracker or an app on your phone. Digital trackers disappear into the screen where your brain forgets they exist after 2 days. A physical jar sits on your table or desk where your eyes see it many times every single hour. Seeing the jar reminds your brain that you are a person who takes small actions, not a stuck person. Watching the paper pile grow gives you a visual reward that feels satisfying in a deep, old way. Your brain releases dopamine every time you drop a paper into the jar and hear it land. That sound becomes a happy little bell that says, "Good job, you moved forward again today." Over time, your brain will start looking for chances to earn that happy bell sound. That means your brain becomes your partner in getting unstuck instead of your enemy keeping you trapped. You can also use the Unstick jar on hard days when you feel like you did nothing at all. On those days, open the jar and pull out 3 random papers from earlier wins you forgot about. Read those wins out loud to yourself and remember that you are capable of moving forward. That memory will give you enough energy to do one tiny win today, even if it is very small. After you do that tiny win, write it down and add it to the jar with the others. Now the jar has one more proof that hard days do not stop you from being unstuck eventually. The jar becomes your cheerleader, your historian, and your best friend all rolled into one glass container. It never yells at you, never judges you, and never tells you that you should be doing more. It just sits there quietly holding evidence that you are a mover, not a sticker, even on your worst days. Let me tell you about a woman who used the Unstick jar to get through the hardest year of her life. She felt stuck after losing her job and her confidence at the same time in one terrible week. Everything felt hopeless, so she started putting one paper in the jar for every small win she could find. Some days the win was just getting out of bed and brushing her teeth without crying first. Other days the win was sending one job application or calling one friend to ask for help. After 1 month, the jar was half full of tiny wins that felt silly but also real and true. After 3 months, the jar was completely full and she had to start a second jar for more wins. By the end of the year, she had a new job, new friends, and a shelf full of unstuck jars. She did not change her whole life overnight. She just collected small wins like coins until she felt rich. That is what the Unstick jar can do for you. One paper at a time, one day at a time, starting today. Your challenge is to start your own Unstick jar before you go to sleep tonight. Find any jar, any paper, any pen, and put them in a place where you will see them every morning. Put one win in the jar today, even if the win is just, I started reading this book and finished chapter 13. That counts as a win because you kept going when you could have stopped and scrolled on your phone instead. Tomorrow, try to put 2 wins in the jar, and the next day try for 3 wins if you can find them. Do not worry if some days have 0 wins. Those days happen and they do not erase your past wins. Just start again the next day with one small win to break the 0 streak and fill the jar again. By the end of this month, you will have a jar full of proof that you are not a stuck person at all. You are a person who moves slowly, collects small victories, and fills jars with evidence of your own quiet bravery. That is a beautiful thing to see every morning when you wake up and look at your Unstick jar on the table. Chapter 14. Other People's Ordinary Magic. When you feel stuck, other people can look like they have magic powers that you somehow missed out on at birth. You see them moving forward easily while you struggle to take even one small step at all. But here is the secret that changes everything. Other people are not magic. They just use ordinary tools you have too. The difference is that they use those tools without hiding them or feeling embarrassed about needing help. You can borrow other people's ordinary magic just by watching, listening, and asking simple questions. Their small tricks and tiny habits can become your small tricks and tiny habits very quickly. You do not need to copy their whole life. Just take one tiny tool that fits your own hand. That borrowed tool might be the exact key that unlocks your stuck door today. The best way to borrow ordinary magic is to ask people one simple question in a curious, not jealous way. Ask your friend, how do you stay so calm when things go wrong? Or how do you get started when you feel lazy? Ask your coworker, what is your one trick for not procrastinating on hard tasks? Ask your family member, how do you keep going when you feel like giving up? Most people will be flattered that you asked and will give you a real, honest answer. Their answer will usually be something small and boring like, I just do 5 minutes, or I make a list. That small boring thing is the ordinary magic you were looking for the whole time. It is not magic. It is just a tiny habit that works, and now you can try it for yourself today. You can also borrow ordinary magic from people you do not know personally at all. Read one paragraph of a book by someone who solved a problem similar to yours right now. Watch a 2-minute video of someone explaining how they got through a hard time in their own life. Listen to a podcast episode where a guest shares one small tool that changed their daily routine forever. You do not need to become best friends with these people or follow all of their advice perfectly. You just need to steal one tiny idea that feels like it could work for your unique situation. That stolen idea is not cheating. It is how every human being has learned to survive since the beginning of time. We borrow, we steal, we copy, and we adapt until we find what works for us as individuals. That is not weakness, that is wisdom, and wisdom is the opposite of being stuck at all. Here is a warning about borrowing ordinary magic that will save you from a common trap. Do not compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel when you borrow their tools. That person you admire also has bad days, stuck moments, and times when their own tools do not work. They are not a wizard. They are just a person who found a few tricks that work most of the time. Your job is not to become them. Your job is to take their trick and make it your own. Change the trick to fit your schedule, your energy, and your personality without asking for permission. If the trick does not work for you after trying it for 3 days, throw it away and try another one. There are millions of ordinary tricks out there, and one of them will be your perfect key. The only way to find it is to keep borrowing, keep trying, and keep moving forward one tiny step at a time. The most powerful ordinary magic you can borrow is not a trick or a tool at all. It is the simple belief that other people are not better than you. They just started earlier or tried more times. That belief will change how you see every successful person you meet from this day forward. Instead of feeling jealous or intimidated, you will feel curious and inspired to learn from their journey. You will ask them, how many times did you fail before this worked? And they will tell you a big number. You will ask them, what was your smallest first step? And they will tell you something almost embarrassingly tiny. That tiny first step is the same tiny first step you can take today without any special skills or luck. Other people's ordinary magic is just small actions repeated over time, and you can do small actions too. You have always been able to do small actions. You just forgot because you were looking for big magic instead. The big magic was never real, but the ordinary magic is real, and it is waiting for you to borrow it right now. Your challenge is to ask 3 people this week the one question from earlier in this chapter. Write down their answers in a notebook or a note on your phone so you do not forget what they said. Pick one answer that feels doable and try it for 3 days in a row without changing anything else. After 3 days, notice if that borrowed trick made you feel even 1% less stuck than before. If yes, keep using it and add another borrowed trick from the second person you asked. If no, thank that trick for trying and throw it away without guilt or failure feelings. Then try the third person's answer for 3 days and see if that one fits you better instead. You are not collecting tricks to become a different person. You are collecting keys to open your stuck door. One of those keys will work, and when it does, you will see that other people's ordinary magic is actually your own magic too. You just needed a little help remembering that you have always had the power to move forward, one small step at a time. Chapter 15. The One Sticky Note That Changes Everything. After reading 14 chapters of small moves and tiny changes, you might feel ready for one final powerful tool. This tool is so simple that it almost feels like a joke, but it works better than anything else in this book. It is one sticky note with 5 words written on it in your own handwriting. Those 5 words are your personal Unstuck code that you can use anytime, anywhere, no matter what. You will put that sticky note somewhere you see it every single day without fail. Every time you see the note, you will remember that you are not stuck, you are just paused. Every time you see the note, you will take one small breath and one tiny step forward. That sticky note becomes your coach, your cheerleader, and your reminder that small moves work. What 5 words should you write on your Unstuck sticky note? That depends on what your personal stuck pattern looks like after reading this book. If you tend to wait for perfect, write "done is better than perfect" in big friendly letters. If you tend to feel overwhelmed, write "just one tiny thing right now" to calm your busy brain. If you tend to compare yourself to others, write "their path is not my path" as a gentle shield. If you tend to forget your small wins, write "look at your Unstick jar" to remind yourself of proof. If you tend to feel alone, write "borrow ordinary magic today" to remember other people's tools. If you are not sure which words fit best, write "1-degree turn," that is all, as your universal key. The exact words matter less than the act of writing them and seeing them every day. Your brain will absorb those words like a plant absorbs sunlight, slowly but surely changing your direction. Here is how to make your sticky note work even better than a normal reminder on your phone. Use a bright color like neon yellow or pink so your eyes cannot miss it in the morning. Put it on your bathroom mirror, your coffee maker, or your computer screen at work. Do not hide it in a drawer or a notebook where you will forget it exists after 2 days. Every time you see the note, stop whatever you are doing and read the words out loud to yourself. After reading the words, take one small action that matches what the words are telling you to do. That action can be as small as standing up, stretching, or drinking a glass of cold water. The action does not have to relate to your biggest stuck problem at all. The action just has to prove to your brain that you are listening to your own advice for once. The sticky note works because of a psychological trick called priming that happens in your brain automatically. Priming means that seeing a word makes your brain more likely to act on that word later in the day. If you see the word "breathe" on your mirror, your brain will remember to breathe deeply more often. If you see the word "move" on your screen, Your brain will look for chances to move your body around. If you see the word small on your coffee maker, your brain will break problems into smaller pieces naturally. You do not have to try hard or remember anything. The priming just happens under the surface like magic. That is why a 5-word sticky note can change your whole day without any effort from you at all. You just put the note there once, and your brain does the rest of the work without asking. That is the easiest Unstuck tool in the entire world, and you can set it up in 30 seconds right now. Many people worry that a sticky note is too childish or too simple to work for real adult problems. But those people are the same ones who have been stuck for years using complicated systems that failed them. Complicated systems fail because you have to remember them, and your stuck brain cannot remember anything new. Simple systems work because your brain can follow them even when you are tired, sad, or overwhelmed. A sticky note is not childish. It is the most adult thing you can do for your overwhelmed brain. It says, I know you are struggling, so I made the answer impossible to miss or forget. That is kindness, not childishness, and kindness is what gets you unstuck faster than toughness ever could. So put away your pride and put up your sticky note today. Your pride kept you stuck, but your sticky note will set you free one small glance at a time. Your final challenge is to create your sticky note right now before you read the conclusion of this book. Take any sticky note, any pen, and write your 5 words in letters big enough to read from across the room. Put that sticky note somewhere you will see it within the first 30 minutes of tomorrow morning. When you see it tomorrow, read it out loud, and then do one tiny action that follows its command. Do the same thing the next day and the next day and the next day for one full month. After 1 month, notice how those 5 words have become part of your inner voice without trying. You will hear the words in your head when you feel stuck, even when you are not near the sticky note at all. That inner voice is the final gift of this book, a gentle coach that lives inside you forever. You built that coach from 1 sticky note and 15 chapters of small, kind, powerful tools. Now go use those tools because you are ready, and you have never been as stuck as you thought you were. Conclusion. You made it to the end of this book, and that alone proves you are not as stuck as you believed when you started. You now have 15 different tools to reach for whenever the heavy feeling tries to sit on your chest again. You have the 1-degree turn, the not-nothing rule, the unstick jar, and the sticky note with your 5 magic words. You know how to find your stuck spot instead of attacking your whole life with big, scary changes. You know how to borrow ordinary magic, break small loops, and give yourself permission to rest without guilt. You know that being stuck is just a pause, not a permanent condition, and pauses always end eventually. You know that small, brave things done badly are better than perfect things never done at all. You know that you are the one holding the key to your own stuck door, and you always were. So here is your final invitation, not to change your whole life, but to change one tiny thing today. Pick 1 tool from this book and use it within the next hour, not tomorrow, not next week now. It could be writing a permission slip, starting your unstick jar, or doing a 5-minute sprint. It could be asking future you a question or moving 1 piece of furniture to a new spot in your room. Whatever you pick, do it with a smile and a sense of curiosity about what might happen next. Then tomorrow, pick another tool and try that one, building your unstuck muscles 1 small rep at a time. You do not need to be perfect at any of this, you just need to be present and willing to try. You have everything you need already inside you. This book just reminded you where to look. Now go get unstuck, not with a bang, but with a quiet, gentle, powerful step forward. You have got this.